Hello everyone, Minute Plus Meditation here, Saturday, August the 27th, a memorial of Saint Monica, the mother of Saint Augustine. Continuing with 1 Corinthians, but God chose what is foolish in the world to shame the wise. God chose what is weak in the world to shame the strong. God chose what is low and despised in the world, things that are not, to reduce to nothing things that are, so that no one might boast in the presence of God. This is such an interesting, this is the way God thinks, an interesting reading. And it sort of gives an insight into the way God operates or God thinks. What he's looking for in his children. And, Paul is just drawing upon, way back in the Old Testament, right? Remember the brothers of David? All the ones that were taller, stronger, more equipped, talent-wise, gift-wise. God says, no. Chooses the youngest. Because God sees qualities in him. So, and this is so often repeated, that sometimes God does choose what the world seems to be, the talented one. But often he reverses this to show us that, in fact, he takes what is seemingly unacceptable to us and raises it to a high level. And he does this over and over and over again. So we should pay attention in the Old Testament when God does this. Look, Jesus didn't choose the most qualified, from a world point of view, the most qualified people, to begin the new Israel. I mean, they were unlettered men, except perhaps Matthew, because he did have to keep accounts, balances, and so on. So he probably knew how to write. He was the scribe. But most of them were just, they were what we would call blue-collar workers, and they probably didn't know how to write. They knew their Bible stories, but that's all in the head, because they told the stories. But Jesus took these men, formed them, and then set the world ablaze with, with supernatural fire. So that's the way God tends to operate. Chooses a lowly maiden, to defeat a seraphim. Like, whoa. Because the seraphim went after a woman, at the origin of creation. So God, operates in this way, and what's at the root of it usually is humility. Humility. He comes into the world not on a charging horse, white stallion. He comes undercover almost, in the form of an innocent child. So that's the way God operates. And you and I should be praying every day for this grace of humility, the grace and virtue of humility. It's not always palatable, but it's actually one of the most beautiful virtues when we see it in play. Seeks to hide itself, never seeks prominence, and yet it often is given prominence, but never seeks it. It's an elusive virtue that's often, its beauty and its importance is often understood when it's absent. Think about that. Okay, so over to Matthew 25. This is the long, lengthy gospel about the parable of the talents. The 5 talents, the 2 talents, and the 1 talent given to these servants. The master goes away. They bury their talent. They invest the 5. One invests the 5, invests the 2, and the one with the 1 buries it. And I'll finish with the last one. But his master replied, "You wicked servant, you wicked and lazy slave. You knew, did you, that I reap where I did not sow? Then you ought to have invested my money with the bankers, and on my return I would have received what was my own with interest. So take from him and give it to the one with 10 talents, or it's 10, 5, and 1. So the point here is that, number 1, everyone is given a talent. No one is deprived of a talent, no matter who they are. 1 talent is of inestimable value because it's given by the master, God. So no one will have the excuse of, well, I wasn't any good. Everyone can do something, contribute in some way to existence, to the betterment of others, to the betterment of the world, even though it may seem hidden, may seem unimportant to the world, but it's not unimportant to God. The key is that we have a relationship with God, and others around us, if they see things, we should, of course, note the importance or note appreciation for, seemingly unimportant things or lowly tasks, which somebody has to perform. And we should show appreciation for them, the gardeners, service industry, and so on, which is actually pretty important now. But the important thing is that we invest our talents. We don't just keep them or bury them, but we invest them. We at least take the risk of losing them by sincerely wanting to invest them and give them away almost, because God will respect our intention to at least try. Even if it means it didn't bear fruit, it will bear fruit in God's mind. And in the next attempt we make, God will supply us again with another talent, as it were, or help us to try again until the talent is fruitful, the investment is fruitful. So remember this, it's really important. Everyone has a talent. Find out what it is and be willing to invest your talent for the glory of God and the good of others. God bless.